Shalom. Kal halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Barakatah. Double honors to the apostles and elders, Gary Milton, and well. And salutations to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. This lesson is really geared towards the new brothers. One thing that you need to learn early is to try to have balance in everything that you do. A lot of times when brothers come to the truth, even myself, and the rest of the brothers in the camp, when we came to the truth, we were very hot-headed. We were very rash, irrational with our thought process and the way that we did things. I want to do this. I want to do this videos and create this lesson just to let you know that now isn't the time for being hasty in spirit, being angry, being depressed, or even trying to gain all the knowledge you can in one night. Because if it's meant for you to get the knowledge, you're gonna get it anyway. But the thing is be balanced in your everyday life and your situation that you go through, and try not to be Sergeant Slaughter. Try not to be very in particular all the time. Try to give yourself some leeway and try to give others around you some leeway, because you have to remember that those around you, they don't know the truth. They don't know themselves and who they are and things like that. So you can't go around and thinking everything is one-sided all the time, because the truth is not one-sided. The truth is one-sided when it comes to facts and the truth and the spirit, but it is not one-sided when it comes to dealing in the world, dealing with the spirit, because the spirit moves like water, So you have to be mindful that situations and, things that come up, whether it be studying, whether it be the woman, whether it be the kids, whether it be, just your everyday struggle, you have to learn how to balance yourself, because we're walking on a big ass tightrope right now. Over to the right we got water, over to the left we got fire. So you can't lean one way and can't lean the other way. You have to be balanced. So that means you have to learn you have to figure out a method of doing things that's not going to vex you, not going to vex others around you. And you have to be in order. Especially just coming into the truth, you have to take orders. You have to be about order, and you have to be precise. This is 1 Corinthians 14:1. It says, for after, matter of fact, Slakia, I'm at 14:40. It's 1 Corinthians 14:40. It says, let all things be done decently and in order. So it has to be, first of all, it has to be decent, meaning it has to be pure. It has to be a pure motive. And in order, meaning it has to be set. It has to be a set order. It has to be done in a fashion where there's no confusion. And often brothers come to the truth, they do things in haste and end up causing confusion. So you want to slow down, think about it. Retract a little bit, and you want to think. And as you're getting things in order, you have to remember that once you come into the truth, you're really a soldier. You're really something else. You're really something that doesn't really deal with the world too much. Especially coming in, you can't come in and then step out into the world right away, because that will end up destroying you. You have to take a step back and take a while to learn and experience first before you can step back into the world and experience the world. Because now you know how to move. You know how to move by the Spirit. Now you have the Scriptures and the Lord guiding you in your everyday steps. In 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 3, it says, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua. So you have to realize that there are things that are going to happen that you're not going to like. You're going to lose your family, you're going to lose your house, your car, you're going to lose jobs. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life. So you don't have to go back and entangle yourself back in the world. Yes, sure, you got to work and everything, but you should know not to be doing crazy stuff like going out to clubs by yourself, parties, you know, doing drugs, just the normal, guidelines. You should know that you shouldn't be going out and doing things you're doing. Hell, even having to abstain from women. Because your first priority should be the truth. Just like when you're a soldier on the battlefield, your first priority is your mission. You know, then after the mission is complete, then you unwind and whatnot. That's how you want to think in the truth. You know, and if a man, verse 5, and if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned except he strive lawfully. So you're striving for masteries of what? The scriptures, the knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Sophia. And it says, except you strive lawfully. When you look at the law is balanced. There's laws that you can be put to death for. Then there's laws that you're not being put to death for. There's laws that carry heavier judgments, and there's laws that carry lesser judgments. That's how you have to be, not only in the truth but in the world also. When you're dealing with your children, when you're dealing with your wife, your brothers and sisters, your parents. You have to be balanced with them, because you have to understand there are a lot of dynamics to the truth and to the spirit. So you have to know how to discern between whether someone's being a complete jackass or somebody's sincerely wrong and sincerely ignorant. And even in those times, you have to learn, like, man, I'm just gonna leave it alone. When it comes to the truth, you got to distinguish between, well, should I break this down to this person, or should I not break this down to this person? Should I act this way, or should I not act this way? And you're only gonna get that understanding by reading the scriptures more and more. Even with dealing with the brotherhood, should I say this? Should I not say this? So you have to learn how to be wise, is what I'm trying to get at. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 25 says, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now that word temperate, when you go into tools here, the word temperate, Slovakia. Word temperate in the Greek here. And kratuomai, which means to be self-controlled, continent, to exhibit self-government, conduct oneself temperately. So you have to be balanced in all things. You have to control your anger. You have to control, your emotions as far as you getting depressed. You got to control, if you're, your everyday lives. Hey, am I working too much? Am I not making it to the line? Am I not making it to class? Am I not studying enough? Am I having sex too much? Am I eating too much crappy food? Am I drinking too much? Am I not reading enough? Am I watching too many documentaries and not reading the scriptures as much? Am I reading the scriptures too much and not watching enough documentaries? All that has to be in your mind. It says, for definition B, it says, in a figure drawn from athletes who, in preparing themselves for the games, abstained from wholesome food, wine, and sexual indulgence. And it's a lot like being in this truth, because this is a fight, And a lot of times boxers, they abstain themselves from the very same things. They don't eat whole foods. They don't go out to eat. You know what I'm saying? If they do, they eat, very small portions. They don't eat wine. They don't drink wine. They don't have sex. They don't even have their families around, because it'll weaken them in their fight. And that's the way you got to think, You have to refrain yourself from certain things. Now, granted, that certain things at times are going to come up where you're not going to be the most circumspect. You're going to do something, it might not be super bad, but it might be something that, like, damn, I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to read today. I shouldn't be going out, with my family to eat or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Don't kick yourself for that. you know, because that's going to happen. But just strive, for the mastery, you know. Of course, we look at like, damn, man, I fucked up, this and that. But you don't have to go to the extreme with it. Why? Because you're new, you're just coming into the faith, so you're going to do things that's like, oh man, damn, I shouldn't have done that, you know. But the point is keep going. Soldiers keep going. That's why I read 2 Timothy, the 2nd chapter. You have to be a good soldier of Yahweh Shai. Meaning, damn, okay, when something happens, all right, cool. All right, you know what? Think about it. I know, how to act next time. Keep going, you know. Because you have to realize that when man was created, we were created subject to vanity. So there's things that we're going to do that we don't want to do. And things that we don't want to do, we're going to do, you know. It's just part of being in the flesh. And speaking like I said, am I studying too much? That's another thing that, another mistake that brothers make. Studying too much, trying to gain too much information, Scripture say eat honey is sufficient enough to be, lest you vomit it up, man. This truth is like honey. It's sweet to the taste. It sounds good. It looks good, The knowledge, gaining knowledge feels good. But when you try to gain too much and not giving yourself enough time to process it, that's when you start to mix scriptures, you start to mix documents together and history together, and then you start to sound like a mess, Now you're not knowing which way is up. Now you're super tired, you're weary, This is Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter and the 12th verse. And further by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end. So making many books as far as books to study, as far as a lot of books that they try to make compatible with the Bible. And much study is a weariness of the flesh, So studying a lot is good, but studying too much will tire you out, man. You'll start to drain your spirit. And coming from a brother that has experience with that, that's something that, I have done multiple times, being in the truth when I was newer in the faith. I used to just study until, until I wasn't really able to read anything anymore. It actually hurt my eyes at one point to actually sit and read a book for 5 minutes, And I was tired all the time. So sometimes you gotta take a break and you gotta folly sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta take a break and folly, or sometimes you gotta, you know what, I'm not gonna read today, I'm just gonna watch this documentary, Or I'm gonna read a little bit and I'm gonna watch this documentary. Or I'm gonna watch the elders, Or I'm gonna watch, the brothers from Dallas or the brothers from Chicago or LA or San Francisco or Boston, So you have to not only balance yourself, balance your life, but now you gotta balance your study habits. So there's a lot to this, man. There's more to this than just calling white men a devil and looking nice and being a part of something, It's Romans 8:20. It says, for the creature was made subject to vanity. That word vanity means emptiness, Not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. So we weren't created to be subject to vanity on purpose, but we were created so that we can have hope, so we have something to hope for. If we were made perfect, we wouldn't hope for Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We wouldn't hope for any salvation, We were made with flaws so that we can see our flaws and pray to the Lord to fix our flaws, So that's what this is about, man. Praying to the Lord for forgiveness and doing what he laid down for us to do so we can reach salvation. You always have to remember that that's the end point, So you're not going to get everything 100% on the head all the time. One, no matter how many years you are in the truth, Because we're still men, we're still in the flesh, and we're still subject to vanity, like Scripture just said, Verse 22, it says, for we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. Now, not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. So we're waiting for the Lord to give us new bodies, man. That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for that salvation so we get our spiritual bodies. So we don't have to be subject to vanity anymore. You know, that's Ecclesiastes 7:16. Also, it says, "Be not righteous over much." You know, so if you see something and you're like, man, you know, or you see, you know, brothers doing something like, for example, let me use an example of, you know, something simple like drinking a lot. You know what I'm saying, like getting drunk or whatever. You know, now scriptures say we can, you know, we can drink, but you know, a brother might read scripture and says, you know, be sober and be vigilant, not understanding what being sober and be vigilant means, and you know, not knowing that it means sober minded. They're thinking about alcohol. You know, so they see a brother getting drunk. Hey, brother, you ain't not supposed to be getting drunk. You know what I'm saying? But you're young though. You're a novice. You know, so you don't know the deeper understanding of that scripture. So you might try to correct a brother because he's drinking, but that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? So you know what? You're being hasty, and you're being righteous over much. You know, not understanding things. You know, so you're trying to be all super righteous and you know stick to the law and stick to this, stick to that, but that's not how the Spirit works. You know, it says neither make thyself over wise, and that's where the studying comes in. You know, don't study too much to be so wise that you just know everything, man. Because what that does, that stirs up that demon of pride. You know, why shouldest thou destroy thyself? You know, so now it's like, all right, why you destroy yourself? You know what I'm saying? Don't be too wise, because now you start to be prideful, man, and that can pride goes before a fall and destruction, man. Verse 17, be not over much wicked. You know, so you notice it said, be not over much wicked. So the Lord knows that. Look, we're gonna be wicked. You know what I'm saying? Not overbearingly wicked to where we commit adultery and all that crazy stuff, but you know, we're going to be doing things in the world, you know, or in our flesh that we're not going to like. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean just let your flaws go and let your flaws consume you, you know. But this is showing what? A balance, you know. It's showing you how to see, identify, and find a balance within yourself, you know. Neither be thou foolish, you know, meaning don't let it go and consume you, you know, because you still have to do what you're supposed to do in order to reach salvation. Don't be a fool now, you know. I ain't raised no fool, as everybody likes to say. Why shouldest thou die before thy time, you know? So now it's saying, you know, now you're going to die before your time. You're being too wicked. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's going to put you to death. So there's a balance between it, man, you know. This is Job chapter 31, verse 4. Doth not he see my ways and counsel all my steps? If I have walked with vanity, or if my foot hath hasted to deceit, you know, so he sees me whether I'm being vain and stupid, you know what I'm saying, and being empty-minded, or if I'm being a devil, you know what I'm saying. The Lord sees it all. Let me be weighed in an even balance, that the Most High may know mine integrity. You know, so that's Job asking the Lord to weigh him in an even balance. You know what I'm saying? Make him balanced in every way possible. You know, don't make him too wicked. Don't make him too righteous. You know, have him right in the middle so that way he can serve Yahweh Shem Shai perfectly. Because the Most High is a perfect balance. You know. So this is my last scripture here. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 and verse 7. It says, and if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues. For she teacheth temperance, meaning balance, and prudence, meaning cautious, you know, cautiousness, justice and fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life, you know. So wisdom, knowledge, temperance, and prudence, you know, are the most profitable things you can ever have. You know, and that balance is going to keep you from, that spirit of balance is going to keep you from doing a lot of foolish things in your life, you know, even being in the truth, you know, and being young in the truth at that. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjectureth aright what is to come, you know. So judging from experience, you can tell what's coming up the pipeline, you know what I'm saying, what's going to happen next. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, and can expound dark sentences. And she foreseeth signs and wonders, and the events of seasons and times. So you coming in being balanced, and just watching, observing, and learning how to deal with certain situations, and learning how to move in the spirit, You're going to become wise so that you can learn dark sentences, so you can see, dark sayings of old, so you can foresee what is to come and things like that, So that was pretty much all I had to say on the topic. I just wanted to give brothers something to listen to concerning, how to be balanced and how to, go about certain situations, especially studying, So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. So honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone who rule well, and salutations to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. Shalom.